think I got them sorted out. I'm gonna go ahead and start the YouTube now. Hopefully, whoa, no. I'm gonna knock my phone down now. Oh my goodness. Hello, Tommy J. Hello, Jesus had it coming. Hello, Ty here. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Decon Q&A with CrystalJae. I'm your host, CrystalJae, and our guest today is Pink and Blue Shark, Sarah, and I'm really excited. So, you know what? Let's get to the theme song, y'all. Gotta turn this up. Gotta turn it up.
It's a brand new day and she's back again. Get yourself a beverage, let's get settled in.
I got my
It's
iced
Decon
coffee.
Q&A with CrystalJae. Hey, 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 all our favorite heathens.
Thank you, Ty here. Send those heart me's, y'all.
Questions answered, our favorite creators on display. It's Decon Q&A with CrystalJae. Hey.
Seb, how are you?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get ready for the fun. Decon Q&A with CrystalJae.
Hey, Cheesy. Good morning and welcome to Decon Q&A. Hello, Sarah. Good morning again. Take two. Okay, do you guys hear the fan now? I've moved it a little bit out of the way, so let me know if that's distracting to you guys in the chat. Ken, you're one of our favorite people too. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. Sarah, I don't know how much you watched the show. It's okay if you've never watched it. That doesn't bother me. I'm just going to tell you really quick how I run this show. So I'm going to start by asking you 10 icebreaker questions, and then we're going to invite people to come up and ask you questions. And sometimes they're shy. Going to be real honest with you. They can be shy, so if they are, we will read out their questions from chat. I am broadcasting over on YouTube, so if they have questions over on YouTube as well, I will read those out to you. And then at the end of the live, we play a fun little game called Divine or Decline, and we invite people to come up and play along with us. So does that sound good? Are you ready?
Yeah, sounds excellent.
Okay, great. You guys, I do have a gift goal this morning of 10 of the little doggy things that are up there. It's there's some kind of campaign going on where I have to get dogs and cats. So if you can't send those up and you can send a kitty or a dog up this morning, that would be amazing. And also, don't forget, if you haven't subscribed, think of doing so today. I have a subscriber goal of 75. We're getting closer every day. It's less than a cup of coffee a month. You're subscribed to Netflix, Hulu. Oh, thank you so much. Paramount Plus. How are you doing this morning? Paramount Plus, you know, all of those things, and you don't even watch them because you're here all the time. So why don't you cancel those subscriptions, save yourself some money, and come subscribe to small creators like myself, like a Pink and Blue Shark, and yeah, help us build our communities. Okay, let's get, let me check YouTube real quick and say hi over there on my iPad real quick. I do sometimes tend to forget. Oops, I gotta turn this down. Good morning, Tara Luna. Good morning, John. Good morning, Angel. Good morning, everybody. If you guys have questions later, I would love to make a song. I asked Joel if he would make a song for my game, Divide or Decline, and he said he might do that. So I'm hoping he does. Anyway, if you guys have questions over there when we get to the question answer part, please let me know. I'll be happy to read those out. All right, here are the icebreaker questions. If dogs or bunnies could suddenly talk, these are always so silly, I just want you to know, which species do you think would have the spiciest gossip?
Dogs or bunnies?
Yeah, dogs are bunnies.
Oh, jeez. I feel like, so I'm not very familiar with bunnies, but they feel like they all have the same attitude.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. But dogs have like different, I'm not sure, maybe there are different kinds of, I mean, there are different kinds of rabbits, right, that must
I
act
think so.
differently?
Yeah.
Hmm. I don't know. Let's see. Spiciest. Um, I'm gonna say rabbits, just because I think because they live so communally, I'm sure they have a lot more gossip.
I think so too. And since they are in the rodent family, rodents are kind of sneaky and
Oh.
and they got those big ears, so they probably are eavesdropping a lot and listen to a lot of gossip. I don't know. I'm thinking bunnies.
Mhm.
Okay, you've been invited to a dinner party where the main course is your favorite childhood snack. What is being served? Hey, Dudette, how are you today?
Childhood snack. Oh, jeez. It's hard. I've repressed so much. What? I mean, Cheetos or chips or something, probably. I'm sorry. I'm not very imaginative on this
That's
one because I can't
okay.
think of
That's
anything that was
Don't
like
worry about it. They're just
particularly.
silly. Um, yeah, you could pick a snack now. What's your favorite snack now that you would want served at a
Oh
dinner
no, now I have
party?
to pick a snack now. That's even harder.
Oh,
I have no I have
sorry.
apparently I have no memories and I have no preferences. Um,
Okay.
no, it is difficult. I go through kind of like, you know how variety is the spice of life sort of thing? Like, that's me. I like a lot of different things. So it's really hard to pin down like what goes at the top of something when you're just like, well, everything has different things that I value about it. Um, and sometimes it's like whether it's here or not. Um, so I would say honestly, I'm really into grapes lately. They're really good.
Mm.
I think they're good for you, and they don't seem bad and like relatively easy to eat. Eat grapes are
I
good
do
stuff.
like frozen grapes are really good too. They're so refreshing. Yeah, grapes are good. I am gonna stick with cookies. Cookies, in case you've never heard it before, are absolutely my favorite food of all time. Like if I could just eat cookies for meals, I would survive on cookies.
Cookies are pretty good.
They're just convenient, and I don't know. I just love
Yeah,
cookies. Okay, if you had to replace your phone ringtone with one sound effect for a year, what would you choose?
my ringtone with a sound effect for a year. Right now, my notification sound is like the sound of the Yoshi egg opening. It's like
Oh, that's cool.
so it makes a little like cracky 8-bitty noise, or I guess 16-bitty because it's from Yoshi. Um, let's see, the ringtone. Oh, probably right now I've been watching Mr. Robot and really getting back into listening to the soundtrack. I think it'd probably make pretty good, like a pretty good
Oh, that would
ringtone.
be,
It'd be a little
yeah.
ominous, but it would. I just really like the music from it.
Right now, one of my notifications is set to the Zelda sound uh, when you solve something. It makes that
Yes.
little sound effect, and so it would probably be something from Zelda because it's just so nostalgic to me. And whenever it goes off and I'm in public, everybody turns around right away. They're all like, "What? Like, what did I just hear Zelda?" Like, yes, that was my phone.
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay, would you rather live in a house with a secret underground tunnel or one with a rooftop garden big enough for goats?
Do I have so many questions? Does the tunnel go somewhere? Do I know
Yes.
anything about the tunnel? Is it like
I don't know. Like, it's just a secret underground tunnel. Maybe there's
Mhm.
something amazing on the other side. We don't know. We don't know. But we know the garden's big enough for goats. We,
Okay, and then my second question is, do I have to have goats?
no, you don't have to have them. It's just that
Okay.
big.
I feel like I would take the garden. It feels like more of a sure thing. The secret tunnel very likely leads to a dead end or something I don't care about.
I think I agree with you again. Like, I would totally want the garden. And actually, I'm not opposed to goats because goats are freaking cute, especially when they're little. Oh my God, they're adorable. Hi, Tex. Hi. Um, if you could instantly master one completely useless skill, what would it be?
Useless skill.
Yeah.
Try to think of skills that don't have uses.
Or, you know, like,
Maybe like
just.
self-gratification.
Yes.
I guess there's a lot of use to that. It depends on who's getting the usefulness use out of
Ooh.
it.
That was a good answer, J.A. said Rubik's Cube solving. That is pretty useless. That would, yes, because I've never been able to do that, J.A. And I'm too lazy to sit there and watch a video to learn, to be honest. So if I could just master it like that, I would probably do the backflip is good too, Shannon. That is really good. I don't know. I'm going with Rubik's Cube just so I can impress myself, I guess. But you were going to impress yourself too in your answer. Imagine bunnies could understand. I don't know why I did bunnies today. Okay, bunnies were on the mind. Imagine bunnies could understand human language. What's the first thing you'd want to explain to them? I know exactly what I would say to them.
Explain to them?
Like, yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I probably wouldn't. I think I would explain it to them. I would explain to them that they literally eat their own poop.
Yeah, all I can think of is that I would explain what cars are. So, have you ever read the book? I think there's a movie of it, of Watership Down.
Oh, no, I haven't.
You should read the book. It's really good. It's about rabbits. Anyway, they refer to cars as like Gerudo-doos, and they don't really understand them. And I would explain them what cars are and like.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's very cool. Okay. Would you rather have every mirror show you as you were 10 years ago, or every photo taken of you show you 10 years in the future?
Every mirror shows me 10 years ago. Fuck. I guess I'd have to go with the photo one. I think it'd be harder on me personally, but like it's more. I don't know. I have a hard time already with like filters on camera on pictures because it's just like this isn't how I look. And
right.
It's distorting when I look at myself in reality. It gets harder. So, but I guess I would never be able to tell. Okay, I'm gonna go with the younger. I'm changing my mind. I can't tell. Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I might. I don't know. 10 years ago. I think I'll go with the photos in the future. I mean, it might. Maybe it'll encourage me to take care of myself better, so I can like go like, oh, if I'm gonna look like that, I need better skincare. If I'm gonna look like that, I need to lose weight. I don't know. Maybe.
No, that's a really good point. It's like a dark visage.
Yeah. If you could swap lives with a fictional character for 1 week, who would it be and why?
Fictional character for a week. Wow, I don't think about things like this enough. You go first.
Okay. I would be Carmen Sandiego. I thought that, you know, traveling all over the place, and then I don't know, just like she seemed fun.
That's a good one.
And everybody would be wondering where I am all the time. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
That's true. You're on everyone's mind.
Right, I'm on everybody's mind. They want to know where I am.
You look super hot. Your red hat and trench coat.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I'd probably be Michelangelo from the Ninja Turtles.
Yes, I love that. That's awesome.
I
I
think
want.
there is a female turtle now, so I guess her maybe or um
That's cool.
yeah, but I
That's
haven't really been
cool.
keeping up with turtle stuff.
My
I,
goal is to one day make a TMNT translation of the Bible because I jokingly say that sometimes in chat when they go, "What translation of the Bible are you reading?" And I'll say, "We're reading the TMNT translation." And Christians get really mad right away. They don't even know what I'm referring to, and they'll go, "That's a horrible translation." And everybody in chat starts laughing because they're like, she just had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So now I want to make a real one.
I would really
Okay,
like to see
what?
that. I would love to see Bible stories from the point of view of different cartoons and things. Like Mezzo and Joel talk about doing the
Yeah.
Muppets. You could do the
Yeah.
Turtles.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be awesome. What's the most ridiculous fun fact you know that sounds fake but isn't?
Oh, don't put me on this one. Fun fact I know that sounds fake but isn't. Um, I
I
don't know.
can't even
I don't
think of
know
a
enough.
fun fact right now.
Right, like this is so specific. Um,
I don't have any fun facts.
you, I see. I do this sometimes where I ask questions and I don't have an answer to them.
I
It's
know.
really
What
hard
what
to.
was I thinking? Let me think. You guys, do you have fun facts in the chat? Somebody tell us some fun facts. Wait, let me think of something. Um I really can't think of a good fun fact right now. Oxford University is older than the Aztec Empire. Well, that is a fun fact. Sea cucumbers have a defense mechanism where they explode their innards. That doesn't sound like a defense mechanism. Fun fact, I drove across country at 18 to attend LA Pride. That is really cool. Okay, fun fact, I I was asked to try out for. I'll do a fun fact about me. I was asked to try out for Storage Wars back in the day, but I didn't make it. I didn't make it, and I'm glad I didn't actually because that show ended up being just horrific trash after a while. It was all fake and staged, and I couldn't stand it.
Oh, geez. I never really watched it. Okay, fun fact. Um, I guess um, I had like a very very short-lived modeling career as like a very small kid. I won some sort of like a an award, I guess. My parents put me in some sort of a pageant thing, and I didn't like it because I had to get up very early to go to the thing. And all I remember was talking about. I think it was probably Ninja Turtles, but talking about TV shows and stuff with the other kids at the thing, and being kind of like upset about it. So I think I did it for like a day or something, and I said I didn't want to. And my parents were like, "Okay, I guess not."
That is a fun fact. Okay, if you could create a brand new holiday, what would it be called, and how would people celebrate it?
Oh, geez, I love this one. Um, I think we should have a holiday for animals, and
I like that.
it should be celebrated in any way that you want to take care of animals or show how much you appreciate animals. Maybe there's balloon art of animals. We have like festivals and all the animals. Maybe we let the animals free for the day. I don't know. They can leave the zoo
Ooh,
for the day, and if they want to come back, they can. That's yeah, an animal holiday. I think
I
animal
like
jubilee.
that. Oh, I really like that.
Shark. We already have a week.
Wow.
Right? We have Shark Week.
Yeah, we have Shark Week. Now we need one just for all animals. Okay, I don't know. I really have no idea. I've answered this before on other lives, and I always said that it would be a cookie day, and everybody brings me cookies. But I was trying to think of something new, because but I really liked your animal one because I do love my babies, my little kitties, and my doggies. So I don't know. I'm
I'm gonna
going with
come clean.
yours.
I think that I heard that from similar thing on a podcast when I used to listen to Current Affairs. It's like a leftist magazine, but it
Yeah.
went through like a unionizing issue thing, and like so I lost a lot of faith. Anyway, at any rate, they were talking about something similar to this, and I was like, wow, that's like such a cool idea, like some sort of way to talk about celebrate animals.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And it doesn't matter if you where you got it from. That's a brilliant idea. You guys, I have 1 minute and 13 seconds to get 12 goats, but I need different people to send me the goats. So if everybody could take a minute and send me a goat, that would be freaking awesome. I'd really appreciate it. There's 25 of you in here, and if we can get the likes up, the shares up, and don't forget I have a gift goal, and don't forget to gift my amazing guest today, Sarah. Really appreciate you being here. You guys, the guest box is open now. If you have questions and you'd like to come up and ask Sarah, please feel free to come on up. And get your questions. I have some other questions here, but I gotta find them real quick. Also, I'm gonna check over on the YouTube to see if they have any questions. And I see so many friendlies. Do not be shy. Ask your questions in chat if you don't have time or can't come up or you're at work or something. But don't be shy. Come on up. Good morning, Seth.
Hey,
How are you?
I am doing pretty well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Did you have some questions for Sarah this morning?
Yeah. How are you doing, Sarah?
I'm doing good.
Good. Um, so first of all, I've told you this before, but I am just like the first time I heard or saw that you were hosting your own live and I watched for a little bit, um, I was just so impressed with your ability to speak to people, not get uh, too aggravated with them. Um, and the questions that you were asking were just very, very good questions. And so first off, I just wanted to say like kudos. That's awesome. Um, and I was just like, man, I I'd always seen you in chats and stuff, and but then like to see that you were doing the thing and you were doing it like really really well. I was like, man, that's awesome. So I want to start off and say that.
Wow, thank you so much.
Yeah.
That means an incredible amount because I feel the opposite about myself on this issue, but
Oh,
I think I'm way too short-tempered. I often make a lot of mistakes.
I
I mean,
think
from
everybody does.
yeah, yeah, and like we are our own worst critics, but like I don't know. I say this in the chat pretty frequently, or where it's just like I there's a reason that I normally hang out in chat because I have no tolerance for the bullshit, and I'm so thankful for the people who are willing to like sit up there, have the conversations, and you know, your ability to like find common ground. And I'm just like, oh man, fuck that guy. And but some people are like, oh no, they're like we had some agreement there, so like okay, that's fine, I guess. But
Wait. I know it's Seth's time, but I just wanted to jump in on this topic really, really quickly. I wanted to say my favorite thing about Sarah is like a lot of people will, like, if somebody's being intellectually dishonest or like disingenuous, they'll try to like, let me keep coaxing, keep trying, because that's ultimately what, you want to do it. But sometimes there's people who will not they won't give. They're just going to keep doing it. And I love when Sarah's just like, you know what, you're dishonest, I'm not going to keep going with you, because sometimes you end up wasting a bit of your time, you know, trying so hard with someone who's never going to give. And I love that Sarah refuses to do that. That's all I want to say.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. Um, my question, it's more of a just like comment slash question, but like me, I do not, like, I'm not thick-skinned. It's really hard for me to, take criticism, or like when people are being nasty or, phobic in whatever way, like that, that hurts me. And I can only like listen to so much of that. Um, so I wanted to ask you, like, when people are, specifically, I've heard, multiple people, and seen comments where people are openly transphobic toward you. And um, I, I just am always looking at people like you who, you know, you hear those things and you don't, at least like outwardly, you don't react in, you're not like reactive to that. And so I just wondered, like, did that take a lot of time to get to that point? Does it still like bother you deep down, but you're just, kind of, for the sake of being on live and not wanting to, um, be vulnerable, like, does it still bother you? And also, how did you get to the point where you're able to like take that and not let it, just ruin your day?
Well, I again appreciate all of these like awesome words you all are saying because it's very helpful to see that I am working on these things. These are like things I actively work on. Um, and so it's good that it's paying off. That like, because I, like everyone is saying, worst critic, and so I sort of see things in a certain way. I remember the worst parts usually. Anyway, to your question about that, like, I think it's taken a while. It's taken a long time of wanting to do this. Like, I've had this account and set everything up years ago, and it's been until now when I'm kind of pressed to do it, but also like I feel I just now's the right time, I guess, um, to like more lean into this. And in that time, I've been screaming at my phone, and I still get mad at the people that say shit. But yeah, my one of my rules from early on is that I just kick bigots. Like I just block them immediately. I don't need them. They're not useful to a conversation. They'll never change their mind. They're not there to like provide anything except for like negativity. So I kick them immediately. I block them. The problem that I can see is that TikTok doesn't seem to like erase the message. So they'll comment, I will block them, and people will still be responding to it and stuff and thinking that it's still there. It still gets out there. It's just I don't know how to stop that. Um, and then I would say like um, it, I guess like it's like a lot of compartmentalization maybe, where each guest I have to treat every guest new. I have to reset. I have to remember that not all people are the
Hi,
same.
Christina.
That how somebody treated me is a more reflection of them than me, especially if like we're not even discussing, right? If they're not even able to get into a disagreement with me and it's just immediate vitriol, like that's them and not me. It doesn't really help. It doesn't take away some of the more hurtful things that people say. I have no idea how I survive them.
No, that makes sense. And Why did Schley say oopsie?
Because she dropped and I had to bring her back up.
Oh, okay.
I tapped too hard and I tapped into a different live and then I had to request back up. I'm so sorry.
I
Christina
hate when that
Carroll.
happens.
I love
Hey,
Christina Carroll, by the way.
Yeah,
I
she's
do too.
incredible. Well, thanks
Does that
for
answer kind of, or do you have any other? Did I bring up
no, that
anything new?
was mainly it. I just, wanted to come up and, again, just say that you're great, and I hope you keep doing this. And yeah, I just have a lot of respect for you, and thank you for the gifts also. And yeah, but I gotta get back to work, but wanted to come up for a little bit and say hi, and love you, Crystal, Schley, Ty
Love
here.
you.
Oh, have a fun work day. Come be pirates with us in the Discord.
Okay. All right. I'll be in the comments. So.
Love you.
Bye.
Seth.
Love you, Seth. Thanks for coming
Bye.
up. Hi, Ty here. How are you?
Hello.
Christina Carroll, thank you for all the gifts for everybody. We love you. Did you have some questions for Sarah today?
Yes, I have one a little more serious and then one a little more lighthearted. So, but actually, and I'm sorry, my landlord was here, so I missed a little bit of the Q&A, so let me know if this was already answered. But, so like my very first experience with Sarah was, I saw that they were live, but I didn't recognize the shark. And so I saw it and was just kind of like, oh, I wonder who that is. And then just went about, life. And then when I got to know Sarah more as a person and then started seeing that she was going live, then I was, going in and hanging out and stuff. And I guess my question is, like, how did you originally get into like going live of it all?
Oh, it's a long planned thing, I guess. It's kind of just stems from, I was trying to figure out how can I talk to people and change their minds. I found people doing call-in shows on YouTube. I tried to figure out how do they do that. Eventually, I found TikTok and saw, I think it was through Twitch that I saw people doing debates on TikTok. And I was like, that's what I want to do. And at that time, you had to do 1,000 followers, right? So I got everything set up and just started making friends and commenting and being around so that I could get people to follow, and then I could eventually do it. So that's pretty much it. It's just like, I like debating. I like talking about stuff. I like thinking about things that I've never thought about before. And making other people do the same thing is fun. Like, so I guess that's it.
Okay, thank you for answering. And then my other question is, I know you said favorites are hard for you. Sorry, my dogs are freaking out. What is like your favorite thing to do right now? Like, what do you find the most fun?
Oh, geez. Oh, I mean, I want to say watching TikTok. But it's like a double-edged sword, right?
It is a double-edged sword.
It is fun, but aggravating. It's like my found family almost is this deconstruction community. I was talking to my therapist yesterday. I have a new therapist, and she was like, do you have any what do you have, community or friends, or what do you have? And so I'm like, well, I have a bunch of random people on the internet. But
I love that.
But I think it's like the place I fit in the best. Like I don't fit in. It's too hard to find people disparately, like in the same place. It's just hard to find that.
Couldn't agree more. And I really love that answer. Can relate.
Me too.
Love you guys. I gotta drop down. Bye.
Me too.
All right, love you, Ty here.
Thank you, Tia.
Schley the day. I love you.
I love you too.
I say it every time I see you. Do you have questions for Sarah?
I do. I don't know. I got here a little late, so I don't know what's been asked already, but
That's okay.
I have a couple questions, and you can totally ignore them if you aren't comfortable with them. But it's like a two-part question, I guess. And first of all, I agree with everything everyone has said. And I think that I'm inspired by all of you guys, like Tahir said, that go live and have the bravery to put your face on camera and ask these questions and face the hate and face the um, argumentative people that aren't here for good faith conversations, like all the things that you could do. But I think Shark, like Sarah, you're so good at asking questions, like Seth said. But I love the curiosity. Like, I think that's what makes your question so good is that you're just very interested in uh, different aspects of why they believe what they believe. And I think it's just really helpful. And I just can't say enough. I think that you're fantastic. So, first question is, who's your favorite co host? Just kidding. Just kidding. No, for real. I want to know if you could travel back in time or just like send a past version of yourself a little memo. What would you say? Like, say, like 10 years ago. And then the same question for like 10 years from now. What would you say?
Wow. Fuck. 10 years ago, I'd be like, you don't understand gender. Maybe that would be what it would be. Because I feel that was like my main block was just not asking questions about gender and understanding it to transitioning. And then 10 years from now, I guess it would be like, you made it. I don't know. I don't know what I would say because I don't know where I'll be. What advice will I need? I don't know.
Yeah. You made it is amazing. I love that.
Yeah, for sure. Did you have anything else you wanted to ask Sarah Schley?
I'm sure I'll think of a million things later, but I just wanted to, as Tahir
You
always
can
says,
hang out if you want. You can, if you have time, you can just stay up here and hang out. We love it.
Yeah, I'm open until I think Crystal, you said like 2 or something. It's like a long time. So.
Yes, yes.
yeah, I'll hang
We
out.
will.
I'll hang out, no problem.
All right.
I just wanted to give Sarah some flowers, like Tahir always says.
I appreciate you all
Absolutely.
coming up and saying like these wonderful things about me.
Well, you're wonderful and you deserve it. You know, like you you make a difference in our community, and you should be told. You should get to hear it. You know. Hey Ken, how are you today?
I'm good. Can you hear me? This is my first time ever talking
Yes.
on one of these. All right. I
Oh,
love
yay.
Sarah's I love Sarah's intelligence and sense of humor. And I always say that my favorite kind of people have big hearts and bright minds, and she embodies that. Um, but I'm also, when I go into someone's home, the thing I'm always drawn to is their bookshelf. So I was going to ask Sarah, what was her top recommendation for a fiction book and a nonfiction book?
Ooh, that's good.
Fiction and nonfiction, good ones. Okay, so I think probably it's gonna like I don't read enough, so probably like fiction is gonna be like the thing that I felt the most moved by or like um connected to. I'm trying to think of like there were
Yeah,
two
pick
books.
as many as you want.
Oh, okay, there are two books that come to mind. The first one is The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay, which is like I barely even remembered. I just remember the impact it had on me, and I remember how much I learned about I guess anti-Semitism through it. Like it's got some characters that that experience a lot of traumas, I guess, and so I remember that I really should reread it because I recommend it, and I'm like, what was the plot again? I just vaguely remember the characters. Um,
Uh, that was
and then
The Adventures of
um,
Cavalier and Clay.
Yeah, I
Is that
think it's
right?
the Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay, and I read it in like a book club, and I just thought it was really, really
It's
good.
too
Um, and then another book that I really liked was Annihilation, which is like part of a trilogy, I think, but I haven't read the rest of it. But there's a movie based off of it, and the movie is very different than the book, and I recommend both. I think they're really cool. They're like incredible concepts that I just hadn't really thought about a lot enough, and I really like the way the movie explored it. I think it's directed by the who is that person that did Ex Machina and like anyway.
Does that
Um,
have Natalie Portman in it?
yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. And then nonfiction, probably some um political ideology kind of thing. um, um,
Hmm.
I am an anarchist. I really like anarchist philosophy. I think it's really interesting. I think Murray Bookchin has some pretty interesting things. Like I read this book, Post Scarcity Anarchism, I think is what it's called, and it's
Hmm.
really really good. I read it in another book club, and it really broadened my thinking as to how we could arrange society to better provide for ourselves without tearing apart the world.
Would you mind repeating that title?
Yeah, I think it's post scarcity anarchism. I can't remember if it's
Thank
post
you.
scarcity anarchism, but I think it's post scarcity something. But it's Murray Bookchin is the author. He was like a leftist radicalist philosopher in like the 70s, I think, and I think he died kind of recently.
Thanks a lot. I think you're awesome.
Thank you.
And Crystal J, you
I
too.
Ken,
think you're awesome too.
thank you. We love seeing you in chat. Everybody was saying in chat, we love seeing Ken. So come up again. It's been a pleasure getting to talk to you this morning.
I have one question. How do I mute myself?
You can click your face if you don't see a microphone down at the bottom, and then you should be able to see a little microphone, and you click it, and I just did it for you. Okay, Shannon, hi, how are you?
Hi.
Good.
I've never intentionally jumped on a live before, so this is a momentous occasion for me.
Look at what Sarah's doing. Sarah is bringing up people for the first time. That's so amazing. I love it.
Yeah, I just had a question for Sarah about how I guess things have changed for her since she first started her lives. Like, which kind of questions and topics she's become more comfortable talking about, whether like you've learned more about the subject or you've learned kind of what connects with Christians and what doesn't seem to work very well. Like, how has, I guess, your strategy evolved?
Wow, this is a great question. I think about this a lot, um, but I feel like I'm still pretty new, and so I'm having trouble like seeing the direction still. But I think it's like so there's a lot of things where I know like a small amount of something, and to me, that small amount makes a pretty good point. But if I don't know the apologetic that they're going to bring against it, then like my argument falls apart so fast. And so I realized that I need to really be more careful about what I pick and choose because I don't know how to speak to it. I just have to say, oh, I'm not familiar. And then we read the verse and then we both just disagree on what it says, um, which happens like continually. So, like, for instance, recently I had somebody that like I wanted to talk about, Jesus seems very supremacist, very divisive. He talks about coming only for the lost sheep of Israel, these sorts of things. Well, of course, they referred to go out to all the world or something like that, right? The Great Commission. And so, like, it became like a, well, this verse versus that verse. And I'm honestly not sure if I did this or I watched it happen, but it's an instance of a thing that I'm like, I don't know enough about this. I need to remember not to try to make this point. So that's one way that I try to like kind of attack it. As far as like getting, um, I guess like understanding the people or getting them connecting with them is really hard because, excuse me, they're coming from like, one second, I gotta get a drink.
No problem.
Okay, so they're coming from like this perspective of like generally not wanting to learn anything, generally wanting to like give their information and leave.
Mhm.
So like they're in this weird position where like they know they have to engage if they want to try to get their information out, but they don't want to do that. And so, like, the entire argument is you trying to pull them into engagement and get them to stop floundering into like fantasy. Because one of the things that I think is difficult is actually tracking a debate and tracking an argument. And so, like, um, it can look like somebody is just like making a long point, but it can become very clear when they don't actually have a point to make, and it becomes very difficult to like let them continue. I feel like this isn't exactly how you connect with them still. I don't know how to do that, I guess. Yeah, you just have to like engage with them and try to figure out like what are they trying to ask you about? What are they interested in? Um, Things like I realized recently watching Daniel some more, Daniel Green, everyone follow Daniel Green because that he is like at the top of the to me, he's at like a top of a list of debaters because he's just so good at this. If your goal is to deconstruct people, um, and yeah, I realized like he puts former Christian on his background, and I was like, I should put that on there. It's something they all want to know about. It's something they all want to talk about. It's something that I don't mind talking about, and I think it's a good place to connect on because it shows like I have some amount of perspective and understanding of what they're going through, and I still have this conclusion.
That's a
Does that
really good
answer?
point.
Yeah, I feel like you covered pretty much everything I asked about. Really detailed. I appreciate that. But I look up to you a lot because we always talk about Daniel and Joel and Mezzo and even Crystal and Benny and all these top dogs, I guess, in the deconstruction community. But as you're just kind of an up and comer, I think you're doing an awesome job and you're so um, articulate and you're so compassionate with these people that you talk to, and I definitely want to catch more of your lives. I caught a few of your first ones, and then I just got into life and being busy and such. But I want to watch more and hang out more. So
And you're on
Appreciate it.
YouTube too, right, Sarah?
Yes, same name, a Pink and Blue Shark. I'm on Twitch under that name as well. I don't do much streaming there right now. Basically anywhere. I tried to set this up as many places as I can to try to like hit that. And then
And can we replay your shows on YouTube? Like, do they
yeah,
automatically? Okay, good. That's cool.
yeah. I stream, I multi-stream to from TikTok and then to YouTube. Um, yeah. So if you miss it, you can go, and you can see the nice things that everyone's saying. I feel you're all missing the crash outs.
but that's not a bad thing either. Sometimes you got to put people in their place. That's part of it.
Those are my favorite parts.
Yeah, true. I think
I
we
mean,
all enjoy them
when I
sometimes.
crash out though, like it's
No.
not.
Oh,
That
those
I
are kind of
know.
fun
That's
too.
what I mean.
Those are
Ouch.
fun too. When the host crashes out. Shannon, you can stay up here if you'd like. We're gonna hang out and talk. I've got some questions too to ask, and then if you guys have other questions, you could just chime in when you want, if you want. Okay. But so were you brought up Christian, Sarah?
No, my family. I mean, I guess it depends, right? Society is largely like has this cultural Christian bullshit. So like my preschool was First Church of God preschool. I was very, I guess, in the soup of American Christianity, sort of. I went to like um, what is it like Awanas? I think it's like this
Oh
thing.
yes, I
Yeah, yeah.
remember Awanas.
Yeah, but it was like only because our neighbor friends who were super religious, they went, and so my
Mm.
parents just sent me with them, and I hated it. Um, yeah, every minute of those things was awful.
Okay.
So what happened though was in the eighth grade, a girl invited me to youth group, and they just like shooting fish in a barrel. Like I'm depressed. I look, however I look, and they're like, they just said like these are the bad things of the world that you're dealing with. I remember the preacher was talking about like bad music or whatever, like depressing music, and then at the end, by the end, I'm just like, getting saved. So
Yeah, I grew up in the church, but there were so many youth groups that I was saved out. Because as a young teenager, you do it over and over again. At least we did. We were like, oh, there's an altar call. We should probably go down. We probably need
oh
to
yeah,
get
I mean,
right
I'm
with
sure
God
I
again.
recommitted. I recommitted my life to
Yeah,
Christ many times.
so many times. And about how old were you when you started to deconstruct?
But I saved, always saved. I was. It feels like it's really recent. I believed in God for a long time after leaving like the structure of Christianity. I still had kind of like this idea that it was real. I'm just kind of like not of importance to God, so I will do what I want, sort of. But I still held to like a lot of the same beliefs about what was right to do. And so I did that for a long time, just kind of on autopilot, trying to like make it through the world. Like I'll think about this later, I guess. And then I don't know. I guess it's probably just all part of transitioning. Just brought up a lot of stuff. Going through more therapy brought up a lot of stuff about my past, and so I think in the
That's
last
what
five
I was
years
going to
it's
ask
been.
you about that. In your deconstructing, did your gender identity play a role in that process? Or did those journeys kind of happen separately?
Yeah, I think it's like I'm gonna be like it's probably once I deconstructed capitalism and like how patriarchy and all of these different structures work. And then I was like, and then I look at hierarchy, and then I look at societal things, and then I started to like meet trans people. And so like all of these things kind of like funneled me towards like asking the right question eventually of myself. But like it never felt like an all at once thing, and it never felt like, I was deciding a thing until that there was a literal night where I kind of like was like, oh, I haven't asked these questions, and it was really kind of scary, but kind of like weird. It was just questions about like, who do I prefer to be around, and like how do I prefer the world to see me? And it what like I'd always heard being trans as being described as feeling like a woman. I'm like, well, I don't know what feeling like a gender is, but it's like feeling like it
Yeah.
in the eyes of society is a different thing that nobody goes to talk about. So that's for me what did it. But definitely getting rid of the hierarchy idea, getting rid of the ideas of like what is correct just because it is. It doesn't mean that it is correct, sort of thing. And so that led, I
Right.
think, a lot towards, and all of that's just rooted right into most religions and most, but Christianity especially, I know.
Were there moments when you were leaving these beliefs you had behind where you felt directly connected to affirming who you are?
Hmm. I mean, uh, I don't know. I can't think of anything. Maybe I don't understand the question very well.
Like, so you're leaving some of the beliefs behind. You're starting to deconstruct capitalism. You're starting to deconstruct these other things. And as you're deconstructing it, is it affirming who you really are the more you deconstruct them? Do you feel like you're starting
Oh,
to really?
yes, absolutely. Like I totally understand. Yeah. Um, a lot of my own identity had been built up through what other things had said I was. And so that extends to, you know, church, youth group, individual people, that extends to society and religion, that extends to like my job, all of these things. And it's really hard because growing up, I've never wanted to believe that I am my job. But then it's like the first thing anyone asks you is like, what do you do? And it's like, and
Yeah.
what do you do is your job. And it's not like, oh, well, I have all these hobbies. And so, because they'll be like, no, I mean, like, how do you make money? What do you do primarily? And I think that's very frustrating that our society is that way. And so I've had to really deconstruct from I am a programmer into like I am a person that programs, um, which is hard when you can't find work because it starts to feel like, am I a person that, or am I a programmer? Am I a person that even programs? Um, but yeah, when you have it tied into your identity too much, it becomes even harder. So it's better to like keep it loosely tied as like an attribute as opposed to who you are. So yeah, I would say every aspect of myself continually I have to like question and figure out is it is it actually me or is it something that's been projected on me and do I want that?
Yeah, I get that for sure. You guys, by the way, I'm asking questions, but you can come up and ask the questions. If you have a question, just put a request in. The guest box is open. Or if you're too shy to come up, you can ask the questions in the chat and I'll read them out. And if you're over on YouTube, I will check over there every once in a while and see if you guys have questions as well. What's one stereotype about trans people in religious spaces that you wish more people understood wasn't true?
Oh, let's see. Probably the thing that I hear the most is like, uh, fuck. It's hard because like so many of the stereotypes cross over between. I think in religious spaces, it's probably something along the lines of like that trans people think that they are the gender they are, that they think they are the sex of the like they conflate gender and
Yeah,
sex. It's essentially always gender and sex. Like it's essentially always
yeah,
like you're just a man trying to be a woman sort of thing. I shouldn't say it. It's even just saying it's awful. But like it's so frustrating because it's like a misunderstanding of what's happening and not even bothering to like to ask, right? It's just
right.
an assumption that you understand another person better than they do, and you're going to tell them what they're doing instead of like asking what they're doing. And I think that's like Christianity as a whole. It's all about telling you what you're doing and then saying, here's Jesus to fix that.
Oh my God, that's true. Yeah, like they are always telling, they don't, it's very hard for them to even try to conceive that somebody doesn't think like them or doesn't want to be like them or, could live a life that is happy, productive, morally sound, and it's not their life. I don't know. And frankly, their life isn't any of those things anyway. Um, Did you ever feel pressure to perform a certain gender in your faith community to be accepted? Did you feel like you had to, like when you were in the faith, you had to do, things that were manly or something and it felt forced?
Yeah, definitely. It wasn't maybe as bad as other,
Hi, Joy.
like, there's a certain amount of like machismo that I just never was comfortable around. So like that was never gonna be my spot, right? All of my friends were nerds. None of us were like super like masculine or whatever. But like there was never like a question as to like what our roles were and like how we should behave in generally. And that was really nailed down when somebody came to youth group and I guess they were gay and they had a crush on my friend and essentially the leadership told them like you have to either work on changing yourself or leave and not come back and like I it struck me as just like a terrible way to treat people. It's not
Wow.
like that if the religion is true then like there's no reason to exclude someone. They can figure that out while they're there and they only did it because they're uncomfortable because probably because it made my friend uncomfortable.
That is horrible. Um, it always just boggles my mind when even after all this time of doing this, when you hear the stories again, I still go like, that's just horrible. Like, I don't know. I always picture myself that I was a different kind of Christian, but the more I deconstruct, the more I realize I probably was not a very different kind of Christian. I wanted to believe that Christianity was about love and acceptance, forgiveness, compassion, empathy. And I thought that I was like that. But if I go back, I held very bigoted beliefs. I think that I fell for the supremacy culture that's in Christianity. you know. I mean,
Yeah.
luckily there was something in my brain that was like, this isn't for you. And eventually I got out, but it took over 40 years, you know, took a little bit
Yeah.
too long.
Yeah, I can't imagine if I had really stuck with it for whatever reason, stayed with the church or gone to a different church. I can't imagine. I don't know if I would have ever gotten out because this took me not being surrounded by it. So I am really impressed by y'all that stay in for so long and then figure it out. Like to get out of the environment itself is hard.
It's really hard. It's really hard. And that's why I am trying. I like listening to you. I like listening to Daniel. I like listening to Joel and Mezzo and creators where you know, Daniel talked about it, or I think maybe on my show last week or whatever, that he studied street epistemology in order to learn how to be the way he is when he talks with people, and he suggests that people do that. And it's more about asking questions, and it's more about listening and not being the one so defensive or so aggressive with these people when we're talking to them. And I see that with you, and I see that with Daniel and Joel and Mezzo and Schley, like when she was on my show yesterday. And I admire that so much because I think, for one, that you are going to be heard more when you approach people with compassion, even though they're combative, even though maybe they are already uh, feeling animosity towards you right at the get-go. You're going to be heard not only by them better, but you're going to be heard by your audience, and your your message is going to be received better. And I like listening to you because of that, because of your demeanor. I really feel like it goes further.
Thank you. Yeah, it took me a long time to get to that same conclusion. I saw, I think it's Anthony Magnuson or something on YouTube, and I think I saw Daniel recommend him as well, like the street epistemology guy that goes out and does it in real life. And that was also like
Mm-hmm.
one of the people that I saw that was like, wow, this person's like changing people's minds, um, like in this calm and like collected way that's not, combative. It's open to listening to them, but not like you're not like letting them control it. You're not letting them like, you know, uh, you're not necessarily like giving up your position or anything. You're
Right,
just discussing it.
right, right.
I
And
think a
a
lot of
lot of
people
times,
even. Mhm.
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, I think a lot of people conflate, you know, that kind of discussion with giving up. And I do that. I've got some streams where I obviously am just digging in. I'm not listening as well as I should be. I'm not, trying as hard as I could be. And it becomes clear, it becomes like I'm just being obstinate. That's like the worst thing you could do. So,
And listen to all my beautiful people in chat, including Joyful from JA Debates. Um, there is a space for the debates, and I'm not saying that. I am just recognizing this other space right now. But y'all
oh yeah.
know that I love JA Debates, so don't worry about that. Um, how have your connections in the deconstruction community been different from your experience in the faith-based spaces?
Oh wow. It's been, I think, just so much more sincere. Um, so much more like open to different people. It feels this way. There's just kind of a general, yeah, it's just sincere, I think. In church, it was always very much like, if you said or did the wrong thing, it's just immediately attacked or just sort of like you're ostracized in a way. Um, and maybe in a very literal way. Um, I feel like in here, there's more of like a let's give you a chance sort of thing. Um, try to explain it. There's good reasons, right? With the church, there's just no good reason to do the ostracization, so it's hard to explain, and so it just becomes like more of an emotional That's just my guess thinking about this for the first time ever.
No, I agree. I think that the connections I've made in the deconstruction community are more honest. They're just more real, you know? Um, and like the the amount of effort I put into a relationship is reciprocated in the deconstruction community, where I felt like sometimes I worked so hard at friendships and stuff with people and when I was a Christian, and I didn't feel like I got the same effort back in the relationship, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
And it's
100%.
because I think there's a lot of fake people who are Christians, and they're just fake. And once you let go of that religion, you realize you don't have to be fake. And the reason why they're fake is because they're taught to be fake. They literally are taught, oh, you're depressed, don't be. Just don't be. Just smile and don't be. You know, instead of going, let's talk about it. Why are you depressed? How can we help? Is this some trauma that you had from the past or what? Or let's just pray it away. So if you're raised, and I definitely was raised in a household where we were so fake. It's really hard to put that down, and that's what you're going to do in your daily relationships if that's what you're taught, But I really like it that I say this all the time. I've said it many times before. In this community, I get to sit at the table with people like you, Sarah and Schley, and I don't know that if in the real world we would have met somewhere and we might have said hi, we might have had pleasantries, but would we engage like we are right now? I don't know if we would have, because the world is like a really weird place. But because we did it through this parasocial way, we're able to bring so many people from so many walks of life together and really build a beautiful community that I think would not have happened any other way.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty beautiful sentiment.
Has there been a moment in your journey where you felt unexpectedly affirmed or supported by someone from your old faith background?
Yes. So I had a youth pastor. It's like a college youth group thing for after I outgrew my youth group, and that was like in a neighboring town. And he and his wife, I was pretty good friends with them, but they moved to Tennessee, and so we don't talk a lot. But I came out to her. Her name is Kristen, I think. Sorry, I'm not I think, but I'm like, do I want to say this? Sorry about that. Do I want to give
That's okay.
names out? My brain is always like, what information do I have to censor for the internet?
Right.
So we'll just call her Kay. Anyway, so yeah, we message, and she's just affirming, and it's been fantastic. I don't know where they are in their position with religion. I think they've deconstructed a bunch, but I don't know how much they still are in it. So it's been hard for me to continually talk to them, because I don't want to lose our friendship in some weird way. To be honest, I think that's it. I don't want to cross a line I don't realize is there. But so far, they've always been lovely people, and I think they're doing kind of the same journey of figuring out the stuff that sucks and getting rid of it. Whether they still have some ultimate belief, I don't know, but yeah, I should trust them more because they're good people.
I personally don't tell any of my old friends or family that I'm deconstructed, and if they find me on the internet one day, I don't know, I think this will shock a lot. But I also don't really associate with most of them. It's funny, but when you leave a church, nobody really calls you after that, They stop getting their tithes, so they don't really They don't really need you anymore. I do have a very, very good friend who is still a Christian, and I just kind of like don't talk about that with her.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
years ago, I told her that I was kind of losing my faith and I wasn't sure that I believed it anymore. And then after that, I kind of just didn't talk about with her anymore. And I will talk to her, and I love her, but I try not to talk about that because I don't want to lose her as a friend either. And I'm afraid she'll be like, "Oh shit, we can't be friends."
Yeah, I lost most of my church friends, I think, pretty much as I started to like lose faith earlier. It's so confusing. My memory of this is very weird because I'm just like, I remember continuing to go to church, but I also remember a point much earlier where I stopped believing. So like, what was I doing?
Yeah. I kind of did it opposite. I stopped going to this church. I'm not going to get into the whole story now. I've told it a million times before. But I stopped going to a church. And then for a long time, I was still believing, but I was like just kind of doing my own thing. But then more things started breaking that down for me. And eventually I was like, oh, I don't actually think I believe this shit anymore. So then, and then I found the deconstruction community. And then I was like, oh, I definitely don't believe this shit
Yeah.
anymore. You guys, the guest box is open. If you have questions for Sarah, please feel free to come up. Let me check. Okay, I've got a couple of questions over on YouTube for you. If you could be a lawyer, what type of law would you practice?
Oh wow. Probably like whatever pro bono for people, some kind of like free servicing to defense or whatever. I don't know enough about law. Public defender. Those are the words. Public defender.
Public defender. Wow. Law. I don't know. I want to be something like some kind of really niche lawyer. Like, I think that more lawyers need to deal with law pertaining to technology, because I think that a lot of lawyers don't know enough about technology. So when they have to defend or prosecute or whatever, or do cases, not necessarily defend, but lawsuits and such, they don't know shit about what they're talking about, so they're not doing their job right. So I would do something probably in technology, because lawyers are stupid and don't know enough about it. Hi, if there's any lawyers listening, I love you. I'm just kidding. No, but I just have seen like some court cases before. I'm like, that's not how that works. What are they talking about? You know, corporate and intellectual property are among the highest paid. Oh, I bet they are. The kind of lawyer that prosecutes congressmen and senators and presidents. Yes, yes, please, TikTok, yes. For trans people who are still in religious spaces but are beginning to question things, what's something you wish you could tell them, or that you want to tell them?
Oh my gosh, it's very similar to what I tell anybody. It's just like, none of this is real. Stop restricting yourself to somebody else's demands. If you feel some way or want to live in some way, like, you shouldn't be beholden to some people reading a book to you. Like, it's not. They have no power over you.
So true. So true. Did you have a favorite Bible verse when you were a Christian?
Yeah. The one where I think it says, "I will never leave you nor forsake you."
Yeah.
I
know the plans that I have for you. I don't remember either. I used to memorize all the verses and where they're at, but hey Jay, but I don't know. There's like some kind of religious block where it's like, even though we will go over the verses in Leviticus, I'm pretty sure I can't tell you for sure where is it 25, 44 through 46 is slavery verses? Okay,
Yeah,
that's the first time I was able to remember it, but I don't remember the Exodus one. I know there's one in Exodus too, but I don't remember that one.
I feel like it's
I always
25.
forget.
No, Leviticus 25. Exodus 2020, something like that. I really need to make, I'm not doing a good job at like, getting my shit together on this, getting my resources for like the debates. I'm always just like, let me ask the internet again.
I know, me too. I'm like, hey, my iPad's dying. Somebody in chat, tell me. I was doing that yesterday with Schley. I was like, hey, anybody in chat want to look this up for us? Question: favorite season and why? Sorry, I don't have a serious question in the bank. No, we love all questions. What is your favorite season and why?
That's a good one. I would say fall. I like the when it turns from like being super hot to being kind of chilly. I like the clothing. I like the styles and the colors and the leaves. Um, yeah, fall.
I like fall too. I am not like being rude. I'm answering questions in YouTube, just so you guys know.
Also,
And thinking,
because I'm a sinner, I have to love the fall.
oh yes, I do love the fall. We don't have much of a fall in Southern California, but it does cool off a bit, which is nice. And living in Southern California, I'm so close to mountains and stuff like that. I can go where it's really pretty very quickly. So I do like the fall. I like spring and fall. They're very pretty. Schley, did you have any questions you wanted to ask, or shall I move on?
It's sweater weather.
A sweater weather. How do you navigate conversations with people who want to talk about theology but dismiss your lived experiences?
Wow. Dismiss my lived experiences.
Like for me,
I.
it's
Mhm.
usually like you were never a Christian, and that's
Oh.
obviously a lived experience of mine, and you're totally dismissing what I'm telling you.
Yeah, I think for those kinds of things, the answer is going to be like to try to turn it back on them. Because most of it is projection, most of it is like a fear, I think, an insecurity about like, something like that. There's just
Yeah.
no reason to make this claim. There are Bible verses that say, I think, both ways, that like you can never leave,
Yeah.
and there are verses that say you can never come back or something. It's just like it's another weird contradiction. So they have to like tell you this to like I think make themselves feel better or something. But if I think probably just accepting it and being like that's probably true. Like why are you a real Christian? Like ask them what is the thing that I should have done.
Ooh, I like that a lot. I really do. That's very good.
Yeah.
Um, it's just weird to me how many little lies like that they have to tell themselves to negotiate the fact that they want to feel superior to other people. Like the reason they're telling us that we were never a real Christian is really because they're so scared about their own doubt that they're like, wait, I could never like fall away because the Bible says I can't fall away, and these people are making me doubt my religion. So I must tell them that they were never a real Christian because obviously real Christians would never fall away, and I'm a real Christian. I can never fall away. It's
Yeah.
just it's just about them, is what it really is.
Yeah, and it's the same with nearly every um claim like this where it's just like, well, you didn't understand this or this happened to you and so that's why you're this way. It's always because they think they understand something about you through their own experience and that you don't get it or something, that you're just not understanding your own
Yeah,
experience.
I think it's
exactly.
also like this fear because if it can happen to someone like us, and the more they relate to the things that we're saying, like the questions that they might be having, even if they won't admit it, uh, and then they hear us say those are the very things that eventually led to us deconstructing, then that could easily be them. So it's this fear, so they have to project and, you know, disqualify our lived experience to make themselves
Yeah.
feel more comfortable and secure, like, oh no, that'll never happen to me. When really, if they would embrace the fact that, yeah, it's just as likely and hopefully, in my opinion, hopefully, you know what I mean? Like it would happen. And
Yeah.
but it's just always this constant fear of the unknown. And that's why they push their beliefs on other people who are different than them. That's why they have so much hate, and why it's such a dangerous religion. Because when you operate out of fear rather than love and acceptance, you're always going to end up with some sort of violence.
Absolutely.
As a wise what is Yoda? Yoda is a anyway. Uh, he said, "What? Fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to suffering." I used to have this like
Yeah.
It's true.
sound. I downloaded like all these sound files onto my computer and made like different sounds on the computer use these stupid sounds. So I've random Star Wars clips drilled into my memory. I
Love
heard
Star
Yoda say
Wars,
that
by
so
the
much.
way. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and so I approve this message. Um, are there any books, podcasts, or creators you'd recommend that handle both deconstruction and gender identity well?
Books that handle gender identity and deconstruction.
Hmm.
Um, I
Or
don't think I've
podcasts
read
or
or
anything?
podcasts. I
Hmm.
don't think I've seen a lot of overlap. Um, there's an artist. Um, is it Ethel Kane? I'm trying to think of the name. And she has some CDs that kind of like tell a story about. That's the best I can come up with right now on the top of my head. Um, but yeah, preacher's daughter is one of them, and then she just released a new album that's really good. I can't remember the name though. But yeah, I can't think of any books or podcasts about gender identity and deconstruction.
That would be a
Um,
very good topic for either book or podcast or something, because I think that we're learning more and more that a lot of people who are trans, a lot of times they are also deconstructing from this harmful religion, and um, and there's a lot that goes into that. There's so much psychologically that goes into that. There's so much that goes into that, as far as breaking, you know, breaking the generational. I don't like saying curses, but the generational trauma and stuff that is opposed on you. You know, I don't know. I think there's a lot there. Be very good book or very good podcast to talk about both those issues. And so that's why we love you, because I think you're bringing that to the table. Frankly, I really do.
Thank you.
If your deconstruction journey were a movie, what would you want like the movie to be about? What would you want the title to be? What would you want it to represent for you?
Wow, you have the hardest questions.
I'm so sorry. I don't
I
try
was
to be.
like, I thought I was gonna be like, what's the genre like? And I'm like, that sounds easy. What's the movie about? Um, it's so difficult because it kind of depends on is it truthful or not. Uh, um,
And that can be up to you too.
hmm, I'm gonna. It would honestly, it would be like, um, I don't know. I don't
Jaws
know how much I.
6.
I don't want to keep going back into anti-capitalism, but it's just gonna be like that.
It's
it's
okay.
just gonna. It's just gonna be like I've been watching all this Mr. Robot, and I'm like, oh, if I could be a hacker that like could take down capitalism in some way, that'd be amazing. Um,
Right?
but so yeah, I think a movie that shows that liberation, and if I were a part of it, would be pretty cool.
That would be really cool. Well, if you give me just 1 second, I'm going to do a quick commercial break here, and then I'm going to get a drink. Actually, not Shley, I almost called you Tahir because I looked at
Who
her
am
name
I?
in chat. You're Shley. Tahir's down there. Shley, would you do a commercial with me for me while I go get a drink real quick and use the ladies' room?
Sure, because I'm super great at this. It is. Hi, thanks for being here. Go ahead and tap and share and do all. We've got those little kitty cats gifts, and consider doing the subscription thing because you get these amazing little consider emojis. Let me show tips. Um, yeah, what do you want me to sing? I don't know how to sing. And what else are we supposed to do? Gift Sarah some gifts for us. And do all the things like when you're in lives, the things that you do there, that's what you should do in here. And I'm not gonna sing. Yay! I don't know how to do commercials. That was rough.
How are you doing, Shley?
I'm anxious because I totally butchered that commercial.
I think those are the best kinds.
Yeah.
Well, Joel has a pretty good one that's very slick.
I know. It's so smart to record them. Oh, am I lagging?
I don't hear anything, but chat seems to be upset. I think it's a them problem.
It's lagging. Oh no. Well, CrystalJae, I just did the best. I just did the best commercial that's ever been done. My ad was fantastic. Everybody is here now. They're doing all the things. So you're welcome.
Well, thank you.
I was a witness. It was really good.
I am gonna clip it and make it my regular commercial.
No need to do that. No need to do that.
The problem is that, like, I think watching it in replay might lose some of the magic. If you could imagine
it'll leech the magic from it if you.
Wow. I see. All right. Okay. I won't clip it and use it. Darn. But, I don't know if it was the best. I feel like I'm missing out. I'm going to have to play it back, though, and listen to it. It was funny. I was on Shattered Foundations Reconstructed Self podcast. It'll be an upcoming episode. And during it, I needed to go use the restroom or something. And Tahir had to go do something. But I left my headphones on as I walked away. And Garnet was just talking and talking. She didn't think that anybody was listening to her, and it was so cute. She's like, my hair is looking really good today. And it was adorable. And then when I came, I said, I could hear you. And she said, no.
Listen, I would be a fly on the wall for that kind of self-love any day. What an example.
Me too. She's so cute. I love her so much.
The Catholic.
Yeah. She's the Catholic Slayer. Okay, when you think back to your young, newly converted self, right? What was your idea of what you were gonna do? Like, were you gonna become something in the church? Did you want to become like a pastor's, or were you gonna get all into it, or were you just kind of a fly on the wall Christian, if you will?
No, I was pretty involved and pretty much like heading towards ministry. I saw it's pretty clear to me that's like what you should be doing. And so it made no sense to me that people would act as though you could go into like whatever field of work you wanted and God would just use you. I'm just like, I don't think that's going to happen as effectively as being a preacher or something. So like
True, right?
it just made no sense. But then I had problems where like it conflicted where you know, we'd do like a food drive or home feeding houseless people or something, and but there would always be like, "Can I pray for you?" sort of tacked on. There was never like this feeling of sincerely wanting to help. It was always about getting something out of them, and I really hated that. And so there's this weird feeling of like, well, how do you do this correctly? How do you know what is right to do? How do you know what your path is and what God's plan, quote unquote, is? And all these things. But yeah, I was in the worship team a little bit. I was like youth group worship, did like leading worship for a while, and I played sometimes on Sunday morning in that band or whatever. Um, and yeah, I was pretty much going that direction, I think.
Um, I'm sorry, I just screwed everything up. I have my little questions on my iPad, and then I wanted to set it up here so that I could stop looking down because I hate when I look down a lot when I'm doing these. And when I did that, it fell, and now I don't know what it's on, but I can't find
Oh
my
no, so the
questions.
questions are lost.
The questions are lost, so I have to wing it. You guys, I'm not good at winging. Hang on one second. Let me see if I can find them.
Is there like a recent apps thing in the iPad?
Yeah, and for some reason, it's like my notes, and it's on all these other notes, but not the one I was on. And for some reason, it's not pulling up the one I was on. And unfortunately, if I just try to look for it, I ask so many questions that it pulls up like everything I've ever done. So,
Okay.
I
so
have a question I can ask real quick.
yes, please.
Okay, so this may have already been
I,
asked.
I found them.
So,
And I found them. Okay, go
oh,
ahead.
you did? Okay. Um, if, wait, what was the question? I had it, I promise.
You can
It was
ask us what the
something
question is.
about what's the most ridiculous thing that you used to believe, but like in an absurd way that's going to make you laugh now.
Oh, the speaking in tongues was real.
Did you speak in tongues?
I could never get the gift, as you'd say. I didn't believe hard enough or whatever because it's gibberish. It doesn't make any sense. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I think that's one of the most laughably stupid things. Also, oh, second best is probably that Jesus says you'll literally do greater things and that you can call on his name. All these things are just immediate defeaters. Uh, if you just look at them and say like, well, that's not happening, it's just immediately like
Right?
it doesn't make sense. It doesn't align with what's happening.
It's true. It's true. There's so many
I think
things that when we read them now, I go, oh my God, what was wrong with me?
yeah, I think the like falling out in the spirits, speaking in tongues, all of these things, uh, very weird, very culty, very
Definitely.
clearly a cult. Like it's just so clearly a cult that I was
It
in.
is. Yeah, I mean the rapture Shannon says. I mean, yeah, like so many things that now we're like, oh, that's not actually even biblical. That's not even in the scripture. Where did you
Right?
even get these things?
It's wild. So for me, I know that growing up in the church and growing up in basically like, suburban America, uh, we didn't talk about trans people. I didn't learn about trans people until I was an adult. I didn't know what trans was. I didn't know what transitioning was. I didn't know anything like that. And so I would imagine that if that's, the same for trans people, like how much more difficult that would be. Was there a time where you were educated on what being trans is before you ever considered being trans, or transitioning? Like before that even was a thought for you, was there a time where you came to learn about it?
Mm, I mean, probably it's hard to kind of say. I don't know when I realized that it wasn't just dressing up or something. I think that's probably
Yeah.
where what I thought it was for a long time. But I think I had a pretty good idea for a long time that like some people presented as women, and they always did. My dad complained about this sometimes in like weird ways. It's just part of how society treats trans people is they talk shit about them whenever they can. Um,
Right.
and so like I think I just had like a cultural idea of it, but I can't think of when I like identified like that it was a different thing than just like
Gotcha.
somebody
Yeah.
pretending
Be-
or whatever.
because in the era I grew up in, we were so fucking ignorant. But you know, like uh, we thought that like drag queens were trans, you know, and I didn't understand at all that there was a difference until I was, and like I said, like until I was an adult, and somebody was like, "No, that no, you know, that's not what that means." And I was like, oh, okay. And so I literally didn't know until I was an adult. And I think, could you imagine if I was trans and I didn't even understand that until I was an adult because of the indoctrination and the lies and the fucking bullshit that we're taught growing up, you know?
I can imagine it.
I'm so sorry. Like, it's just
it's
horrible to
it's
me.
it's really weird. It's just like I still feel kind of like I'm just never asked the right questions because I don't feel. I mean, I do feel pretty different, I guess, but I don't know. It's just hard to
I,
like explain.
I often tell people this. I believe that life is really a spectrum on almost everything, and for some reason we've decided to box everything up. I believe that love is a spectrum, gender is a spectrum. I believe that uh, even even who we are attracted to can be just a spectrum. Like maybe maybe some people like a woman might be 99% of the time attracted to men, but 1% of the time she's attracted to women. Maybe it's not I'm 50%, you know, attracted to women, 50% attracted to men, and I'm bi, you know. Maybe it's more of a spectrum than that. And the reason I say this is because I really believe a lot of people my age and older, I think that a lot of us, if there had not been put this so much bigotry and hatred toward the LGBTQIA, I think many of us would have explored our sexuality more, but we didn't because we were told that, you know, we would go to hell and that it's horrible and all. I'm not even going to say all the things they told my generation. Um, just know that I was born in the 60s, so that should tell you like how much has changed, but not enough. Um, and hey, Riptide, how are you? So anyway, I don't know. I just can't imagine how difficult it would be to be both Christian and trans and grow up in this fucking country. I guess is where I'm going with that.
Yeah, one of the reasons that I've decided to do this more often is that I think seeing I'm hoping that if there are any Christians that are like trans and they're like, well, I don't know if it's keeping them from being who they are, like I want to help them not be trapped,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
I think there's probably some way that you can just, you know, figure it out and be like, I'm actually Christian, love Jesus, and I'm trans and I'm open about it, it's fine. That's happening, but it's like to the people that are like, I don't know how to do that, they need to probably leave the religion. Don't leave your identity.
Yeah, Jay, that's what you're saying, what I'm saying here. I always wonder what it could have been like had I not been a Christian. And Jay came out sooner. I'm straight. I didn't come out, but I'm wondering if I would have explored my sexuality, and because I do find women absolutely gorgeous, and I thought that everybody did, you know. Like, but then I talk to people, they're like, oh no, I don't feel that way about other women. So I'm like, oh, maybe it's because I never explored it, and it's probably because I grew up in a time where that was just completely forbidden, you know. And I think I'm just gonna say that this is what I'm talking about when we were talking yesterday, Schley. This is another way that it's just been detrimental to society, because who knows how many people would have loved other people had they been free to love. Does that make sense?
Definitely. I am so angry about, well, not angry. I don't know. That sounds like I'm just this bitter old hag when I'm just walking through
You're
life,
not.
just angry all the time. No, but like I do resent the fact that I lost so much time in purity culture, not accepting or like just repressed, you know, sexually. And
Yeah.
I could have been exploring things that I liked and feeling really fucking good a lot more of the time.
Yes.
And
And all these people could have been. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sarah.
yeah, like 100% agree with that. Like I feel like I lost a huge amount of time of where I believed I had figured out something, like it was like a fundamental core thing was figured out and I was done thinking about it, and then I could like just build on that. Well, that foundation was really bad. um, and so it just sucked because when you have to actually look at it, like all that other stuff you built on it can fall apart. So, but I agree, like it sucks because I just assumed that it was good and that I didn't even think about how I how little I had experienced, I guess, before I made those assumptions.
Um, Ashra said, how many people ended themselves because they couldn't be who they were in the church? I agree. And I think about that a lot. I think, you know, we talked about a holiday, but maybe we need a day of remembrance for all the people who have lost their lives by self unalignment due to this cult, because many of them are going to be in the LGBTQIA community, and women, frankly, and maybe we need a day of remembrance for those people.
I love that idea actually. And like finding out about their stories and telling their stories and saying their names would be a way to just honor them in such a way because I mean, so many times, like, I mean, case in point, like, there's books being burned or banned or whatever, and history is repeating itself, and that's what they want. They want to erase those stories. They don't want us to remember that part um, of the story. So, yeah, I think that would be fantastic.
Let's talk in my Discord. Let's make this happen. Let's come up with a date. Let's figure it out. Let's make this happen, and we'll pick a date in the future here to do it. And some of us can find some stories. We'll hold a live. We'll share their stories, and we'll talk about it. And we'll start the first ever, and we'll come up with a good name for it.
And it can be something that everybody can contribute to. Like when you find out about someone that we should know about, we can share their story, you know, build it like continuously, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. So in that kind of same vein, Sarah, was there a time when you began to realize that God's love, that you know, the love that you were taught about God did not line up with what you feel love is?
Wow, that's a good question. I don't think I really understood that until getting into this community. Like, I had kind of a very generic Christian experience, I guess, as far as like the understanding of God and and like how the love worked and all this stuff. And so, to me, it it aligned well with like the things that I thought, the belief I had about love. I allowed them to just put God and say that was that. And not until seeing how the God is actually in the Bible, and really seeing people critically think and talk about it, did I realize like, oh, it just doesn't even match up. Like, I still have my belief in what love is. It's just that it's not this God.
Yeah, it is definitely not this God. When I first came to Doug and told him, that I wasn't a believer anymore, I didn't believe any of it. I There was some anger at first, and he had every right to be angry. Like, I literally brought him kicking and screaming and made him like, you want to be with me, you have to worship my God type of thing. And now that I look at that, that is just so wild that I did that to him. And he did everything I asked him to do. And now I'm coming to him and I'm telling him I don't believe anymore. And he was like, I just don't know that I just can and you can't just turn it off. You can't, because we know that you cannot force yourself to believe or not believe something, right? And I remember telling him, I'm like, but frankly, like, but surely you can say it is not this God. Now with everything I presented you. And he was like, you're right. I can honestly say it's not that God.
Yeah.
And I think that was a turning point in our relationship too, to be able to like stay on solid grounds after me breaking the news to him, because it is a hard thing for a spouse to learn, like, wait, we built our whole family on this thing that you made me do, and now you're telling me you don't do that thing anymore. So yeah, but I think that really helped him.
Well, and if when you truly believe, it also just feels like I do remember feeling like I have some hidden truth that other people just aren't seeing. And like,
Yeah.
it's like they're just not getting it somehow, and I need to figure out how to make them get it, but there's no like evidence, there's no good way to explain it. And this is how you know something is false. is when um
True.
is when like you feel very strongly about it, but you have no reason that you can give for it. It's just like no good reason, I should say. There were reasons I'm sure I could give, but it pretty quickly falls apart. And um, whenever I hear people say things like, "I just wish you could see," "I just wish you could understand this," or "You have to understand this," I know it's just them saying like, "I don't have a good reason for this."
It's true. And, I always talk about like sometimes you'll get a certain Christian and they will be like kind of conceding, like, okay, you got me there. All right, well, I'll have to look into that one. All right, well, I don't. But this one thing, and I think, what if you did prove me right on that one thing? What are you gonna do with all the others? You know what I mean? Like the just like this, but this one reason, this is why we have to stick with it. Um, what part of your faith took the longest to unravel? Was it doctrine, community, your personal identity, or was it something else?
Oh boy. Probably personal identity. Like the idea that you are who you are because somebody made you that way is like a really strong kind of like issue when you're trying to figure out who you are. Because it kind of like means you have a bunch of presuppositions that you can't really like just um, you have to figure out why you can throw those away. And so
Yeah.
I'd say that's probably it. Community, the I mean like yeah, it just kind of like they just I mean Christians are awful people, so they just they'll turn their back on you as soon as they can. So there's some hard parts of losing the community that I was in, but and it was nothing to do with like it was mostly to do with like me obviously losing faith. Like I don't think I ever even came out and said like I am doubting. It was just like clear that I had a different ideas in my mind or something to them, and so they just um, cut me off. Like they did it. There was no
Mm.
discussion when I tried to bring things up. They just I had a friend that I was in a band with him. We were in worship band, and then we started a different band. he and the other band member, the bassist, he was the drummer. They left. They basically kicked me out of the band, started a new band, and when I like was like that really hurt, he was just like, "I'm sorry you feel that way," and it's just like that has always stuck with me as how Christians behave. They don't care
Yeah.
how you feel or how their actions impact you. If they believe you're doing something wrong, they'll cut you out. They don't care. They don't need to hear about it.
Yeah. It's true. Hey, you guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all the likes, comments, shares. But don't stop tapping the screen. Thank you so much. If you can get back to tapping, we have been live for 2 hours now. We should be over 50,000 likes right now. Also, don't forget, I have a gift goal. They're just 1 coin each. And I'm looking for more subscribers. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I bring you Decon Q&A with CrystalJae. CrystalJae's Conversations with Christians, where I have great co-hosts like Schley. And I also bring you non-believers Bible study. My Decon Q&A brings you up-and-coming creators and some of the biggest creators in the deconstruction community. In September, I'm going to have both Joyful Apostate and Justin, Deconstruction Zone Justin. And so you want to subscribe. You get good content and for less than a cup of coffee a month. So if you have subscribed, could you drop some stickers down in the chat so we could show everybody some of the perks they get for subscribing? And also, if you have subscribed, think about sending out subscriptions to the chat. They love to receive those as gifts. Thank you so much for being here, everybody, though. I really appreciate you guys so much. By the way, the new crystal ball little stickers are based on the Ouija board, too, because I put all the things that the Ouija board says on it. So I thought that was kind of cute. Was there a single aha moment for you that made you go, okay, yeah, this whole thing is bullshit?
Not a single this whole thing is bullshit, but probably I can think of a number of breaking points. What do the Mormons call it? The breaking of the shelf or something? The anyway,
Yeah.
I can think of like when I was in high school and I was going through a very difficult time with some Christian friends that were kind of like cutting me out of their life. And so like I'm trying to turn to God, I'm trying to get help. I'm like, this is your wheelhouse, is like fixing relationships, giving guidance, doing these things. These kinds of things are the things that I thought God was about. The touchy-feely, you know, unknowable things, right? And so when that wasn't working and I worked, you know, prayed, and I was like, I'm not getting anything, nothing's happening. It's not changing, I feel no better. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna like stop doing this because it's not working. God's not listening. For whatever reason, he doesn't want to help me with this. So I'm gonna go forward and live my life like I have been. I'm not going to like, you know, I still believe a lot of the same things. I just am not going to be so distracted by trying to serve God in this way or whatever. But I feel like I still stayed in church and stuff for a while after that. And you know, I had like other moments where friends would say like, "Oh, I just couldn't believe because of so many contradictions." And in my head, I'm like, "Contradictions? Sure." Because like I have no idea. I'm like, I don't know what they are, and I'm afraid to ask. But like,
I remember.
you know, that was much later when I was, you know, basically I probably was like, you know, I didn't understand atheist and agnostic so well, so I would have just been like, I'm agnostic. I don't really know, but I think Christ is probably real.
Were there, after you stopped believing altogether, okay, you stopped believing out, were there things that you heard that you were like, wait, shit, I didn't know about that one? Do you remember going, what? I didn't even know about that after you stopped, though?
Yeah, like all the contradiction stuff. Stuff that I thought I knew pretty well. The story about the woman that Jesus calls a dog, we never talked about it in
Yeah.
that sense, right? It was always about
Right?
how it was about being humble and like, you know, you might ask and ask, but like you have to like be submissive and all these, it's stupid lessons
Yeah.
anyway, but that's what they focused on and they acted like that was good. And when you look at it in reality, it's just like, this is terrible. Like, this is the worst teaching you could give
Right?
to somebody.
It's so ridiculous. I often, like, when we're reading the Old Testament and Rabbi Bert will come up, a lot of times I like, because he finds it interesting, I will tell him what we thought those things meant as Christians compared to what, he sees it as a rabbi. And it's always very interesting to him. He's like, what? What are you talking about? That's what you guys thought? But yeah, and that's just the Old Testament. Don't get me started on the New Testament, all the weird things that I thought. But I remember after I stopped believing, hearing Justin say for the first time that Jesus had not fulfilled one messianic prophecy. And I was like, well, he's a goddamn liar. I know that Jesus wasn't real, but obviously the reason we believe in him is because he fulfilled prophecy.
Right.
And then I went and looked him up and I'm like, oh my God, what? Not one. That was horrible.
Oh, okay. I froze for a second. Yeah.
How did your friends and family react? Oh, okay. How did your friends and family react, when you deconstructed, and if you want to share the reaction when you transitioned?
Sure. The deconstruction part, I mean, yeah, I don't think, I basically left the church in my mid-20s. Probably the hardest thing has been like my partner, who was also, very heavily indoctrinated, but I think he still believes to some degree. So there's some sort of like mismatch that's difficult there. But our relationship has changed a ton um, since getting married. But like at any rate, I think the only people I talked to was Kay, my friends in Tennessee, and most other people I just don't. It doesn't come up. I don't talk to my old Christian friends. I don't have a lot of Christian friends. As far as transitioning, mm, some of my family is too extreme right, so I can't tell them because they might hurt me. Uh, but my my mom has passed on. My dad, I came out to. He's not unaccepting, but he's not a. It's a complicated. It's complicated,
Yeah.
and I don't talk to him a
Yeah.
lot. Same with my uncle. I don't know. Yeah, we talk occasionally, and he's kind to me, but I don't know what he thinks of me. I just try not to really talk about it. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like at this point, I'm just kind of like old enough that the shitty people aren't in my life anymore anyway. So
That's good.
it was like
That's
an
good.
easier transition for me. I have experience with close people that had their parents cut them out because of the religion, where they felt that the God was more important than family, which is just so crazy that you could believe this is a loving God.
I just turned to my daughter yesterday, I think. I literally, as we were driving, we were talking about things like this, and nobody in my family is into deconstruction like I am, but also none of them were as indoctrinated as I was. And so, but every once in a while we talk about what I do, and we were talking about it, and I thought to tell her, I said, hey, I never loved God more than I loved you. And she said, okay. And I said, I know, I just wanted to tell you that because I'm sure sometimes maybe it came across that way, but literally, I would beg God to never make me choose between him and my children because I didn't think that I could ever choose him because I loved my kids too much. I was like, I don't think that's going to happen, so please don't make me do that. And I would literally pray that. Don't ever make me do that because I'm going to pick my kids. So anyway, I just thought to tell her because I was like, we have to realize us who were parents that brought our kids into this too, that we have repair that we have to do with them. We damaged them, you know. Has anybody surprised you by changing their mind when you're up there, even on one issue? Maybe not the whole thing, but did you get through to somebody and you were like, whoa, hey, I think I got through to them?
I think I'm still too early in this. I'm not sure. The only instance I could think of was somebody on Reddit. This is going back a little bit, where apparently I had been arguing about housing as a human right or something, and they were arguing in favor of something else. I don't know. Probably it's just an argument about landlords, probably. And if they made some post that they were like, "Yeah, it turns out I lived with my parents and I didn't understand how rent was." So it didn't feel like such a great win after I found out how young they were, but yeah.
But it's still a win, you know. What is one thing that you wish faith communities would understand about trans people before they would try to minister to them?
That we are not broken, that like we don't need to change. It's difficult because it's like part of the doctrine is that everyone's broken and that everyone needs Jesus and you have to change to be like Jesus. It's just stupid. It just doesn't make sense to say that that's love and to say that this is you not being a robot. If you want people to be in your church, you have to accept them as they are. You have to be literal about that. It can't be come as you are and then change. That's not going to work.
I love that. That's so true. Have you found representation online or, anywhere where you really feel it's authentic and you really enjoy it and people should know about whoever it is, the creator or the program or...
Representation as far as like trans representation? I'm trying to think. I watch so few debates and stuff now around it because it's very difficult. There's a few people that I follow, but I'm having trouble like remembering their names. So that's great. That's gonna be helpful.
That happens to me too.
Oh gosh, I don't know. Do you have an answer to this? I'm blanking on everything. Now that it's getting to the point of like me trying to think of thinking and it's not working.
I like what Mercury Stardust does for the day of visibility. They do like a 24-hour or sometimes it's longer live and raise all kinds of money for healthcare, and it's really cool.
I like that.
That's great.
I like Mercury Stardust. Yeah.
I'm not familiar with them, so I'll have to look that up.
Pax was in here earlier. Pax under construction. He goes live sometimes. I don't know if he is doing like a schedule or anything, and his overall the content he puts out, I think, is very authentic, and he's gone through a lot, homelessness, spousal abuse and stuff, and so he's been through a lot. And so anyway, I think that Pax is a really good person to follow.
Yes, I agree. Thank you for remembering Pax. He's a very good person to follow.
If you could send one sarcastic but harmless postcard to your old church, what would it say? I want to send a postcard that's kind of snotty to my old church.
Sarcastic but harmless postcard to my old church.
If you could
let's see, probably something like, oh gosh, I'd have to think about this because it's like, I know the message needs to be like, this is ridiculous, and like it needs to be in like one sentence. It needs to show it. And so I'm trying to think of like the verse, and
Yeah.
it'd probably be something to do with like prophecy or something that's just not fulfilled. Just show them, or maybe a slavery verse, maybe something about the Amalekites. Just show them something that's like, this is the God you worship. I don't know. I don't know if that's sarcastic or if that's just mean or whatever, but I don't understand the position of like, I will continue even though you've shown me this.
April says, "Greetings from atheism. Wish you were here."
That's good.
I
I'm
love
not
that.
I'm not good on the spot, I think.
The first one that comes to mind for me is what Joel says about leave the cult and eat pussy.
I love that. Yeah, that would be a good one too. I don't know, like I need to come up with something about gossip because if y'all because yeah,
Maybe like
they
try
need to
try
learn. I think.
atheism. Try atheism. It's actually amazing.
Yeah, I think we could. Yeah, I think we could use that one too. What is something that about your life now that younger you would be just so damn proud of?
Oh, that's a really good question. It's difficult because younger me had different, maybe slightly different values. Um, Geez. I guess like probably just being an adult. I don't know. Like I can't think of like what I would have been proud of. I don't feel particularly accomplished in most things. I'm sorry. I don't know.
That's okay. That's okay. You don't ever have to be sorry. I come up with questions that I just think about, and I think for me, my younger self would be proud that I do a little show on the internet. It might not, my younger self might not understand fully what any of that is because we didn't have that shit. But it would be like, what? You do stuff and people are watching you? That's so cool.
That's true. I have a hard time with this, right? I tell James all the time, like, oh, I made like a couple of dollars or whatever. I had like this many viewers on my live, and he's blown away by it. And I'm like, it feels not very like, I guess it's a milestone, but it doesn't feel as impactful as maybe as it probably should or something. But I'm like, yeah, I think to an outsider it probably seems different, I guess. And like, yeah, my whole thing doing this maybe is something to be proud of, I guess.
I definitely think so. And I think that when you're creating and when you're growing your channel and your community, we do too much. I do, and it's very uplifting. At the end live, it's going to tell you your rewards. But if you look down, it'll also say like view more. And if you click that view more, there's a category where you can go to see all the comments that people said while you were live. And reading those comments is so inspiring and so uplifting. People say the nicest damn things in our chats. And oh my God, that is so sweet. Anyway, it just makes you realize that what you're doing has a great deal of value.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing, and now, oh no.
Okay, I just told you all something. Everybody in chat, you should know that.
So you've seen how many times I've spelled tits with crystal balls.
Yes, I have, and I love it every time.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I love it. I go in and read them, and I laugh at night. Oh my God. Sometimes you guys, like, By the way, if you're not in the Bad Bible Debates Discord, go subscribe to Meza or Joel and get in that Discord. You guys had me laughing so hard last night. I was crying. But yes, I read the comments for my chats. Not all every live. I don't do it every live, but every once in a while I'm like, oh yeah, let's go see what people had to say while we were live today. And it's just, you're funny. You guys are funny as fuck, and you're sweet. You guys are so nice. Like, I love. What is one of the most ridiculous reasons a Christian has given you for why it's wrong to be trans?
You know, I don't know that I've given them the chance. Maybe. I don't know that I can think of one for that. They usually don't have a reason either. A lot of times, I guess there's maybe like the I think they come at it from like a they think that I'm trans because I was hurt by people or something, or that I left the church because I was hurt. That's often what they say. But then like maybe something like oh, I just thought of it. Oh, basically like you don't understand yourself because you don't have God. I think it's kind of the gist of it.
So ridiculous. So ridiculous. Um, all right, here's a little fun one, okay? If your deconstruction journey had a little theme song, what would the theme song be?
Oh, deconstruction journey. Oh my gosh. Like I don't know if I just would go with like something personal to me or something personal to the leaving the religion or something. Losing my religion by REM sounds pretty good.
Yeah, that is a good one. I like that song that's on TikTok all the time, but I actually really, really like the song and it's on my playlist. Earth is Ghetto. Like all deconstructing. There's a song that goes, Earth is ghetto, I wanna live, can't you beam me up? I'm out on the street, on the corner store, you know, the one on 15th. Got a bright shirt on, so I'm easy to see. Oh, Earth is ghetto. Anyway, Earth is ghetto, and that's what I've learned from deconstructing, is that capitalism is ghetto, white supremacy is ghetto, it's all ghetto, and I want to leave. Yeah. What song, Shelly? What song is Mezzo's song? What?
I'm gonna butcher it. I think it's called Wadwo. What?
Uh-huh.
He would be able to tell you better. He explained the meaning behind it. But it's in the Discord. And
Oh, okay. I'll check it out.
yeah, it's beautiful. He's got a lot of songs. Well, they both do, but yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, they've got a lot of music. We have somebody requesting it. Let's see who this is. Nope, not coming up. This is a Decon Q&A, and if you're not coming up to ask Sarah a question, then you're not coming up. Even if you follow me, you're not coming up, okay? You guys, if you have any questions for Sarah, just go ahead and request up, or you can ask your questions in the chat. I'm going to check YouTube real quick and see if we have any more questions over here, because I can't have it up and ask questions at the same time. Okay, Sarah, if you want to talk about politics, what are your thoughts on democratic socialism? I consider myself as more of a social democrat as of now. Norway, Finland, Sweden.
So my understanding is that social democracy and democratic socialism are different things. Whereas social democracy is essentially like you're going to keep capitalism in place and you're going to just try to have more social programs like Finland and Sweden and stuff like this. The issue with this is that we use the global south to keep that running. We don't actually solve the problem, and we still have the same issues of hierarchy and inequality. It's just not as exacerbated. democratic socialism, on the other hand, is actually, I think, just socialism. I don't know why you would have socialism without democracy. I think that's fascism. Uh, but like, essentially, yes, that's where the workers would own the means of production through probably through the state apparatus, and you would vote through unions and things like that probably to make decisions more. Um, did I answer the question? I'm not sure if I just defined them
I
or if
think
I answered
so.
it.
So, the question was, what are your thoughts on it? And I think you shared your thoughts.
Oh yeah, I think socialism. As an anarchist, I'm not entirely sure that the state can move itself towards communism and that it might always end up being authoritarian. So that is like an open question to me, as far as whether socialism makes the most sense. But people say that it might be needed for a transition.
I think John Paul is who asked over on YouTube, by the way, and he said yes, they are different. John Paul, if you had anything you wanted to reply to that or whatever, I can read that out. If not, you guys, it is about time for everybody's favorite game. So if you're in the chat, get your butt up here. We're about to play Divine or Decline. And in order to do that, we need a couple more people up here to help out Schley and Sarah. So make sure you, I will pull you up here if you don't just send the request in. But meanwhile, if you guys can continue to hit the likes, let's try to get to 50,000 before we end the live. Also, don't forget I have a gift goal of 666 kitty cats. And if you can't see it, let me pin it real quick because sometimes you guys don't have all the gifts I have and then you can't gift them. And we got a couple of people requesting up. We got Jay. Yay, Jay. Hi, Jay.
Hello, CrystalJae.
Hello.
I have no idea what this game is, but sounds
Ooh,
cool.
it's fun. Okay, here's how it works. It's super fun. I'm going to read a phrase, and then you guys are going to tell me whether it is from, we got to make sure I find today's, wait, I need today's questions. Today's, sir. Okay. I'm going to read you a phrase, and you have to tell me if it's from the Bible or if it's not. And here's how it works. When I read the phrase, every Bible verse is truly a Bible verse is from the New American Standard Bible. And I do that because it's copyright free. And so that would be divine. I don't know why I'm having trouble explaining this today, Schley, like I've only explained it 4 million times. But if it's from the Quran, Book of Mormon, or I made it up, you're going to say decline. And you guys, if you're a subscriber and you've got stickers for the Divine or Decline game, drop those in the comments so people can see what they can get. If they were a subscriber, let's show them how cute my Divine or Decline stickers are. So it's that simple. I'm going to read a phrase. If it's from the Bible, divine. If it's not from the Bible, decline. Okay? And here we go. Oh, I was looking at the wrong thing. Okay. Number 1. The one who shuts his ear to cry to, I'm sorry, let me read like a normal human being. The one who shuts his ear to the cry of the poor will also cry himself and not be answered. J, divine or decline?
I'm going to say decline.
Okay, Schley.
Oh, you said cry?
Yes, it says the one who shuts his ear to the cry of the poor will also cry himself and not be answered.
I think that's decline.
All right, Sarah?
Yeah, I'm gonna decline.
That's divine. That's Proverbs 21:13. So Joel Osteen, go to hell, okay? Just saying. Okay.
I thought I would have heard this a lot. It's a very good one.
And the mountain of the house of the Lord will be established as the chief of the mountains and will be raised above the hills, and all the nations will stream to it. J.
Divine.
Schley.
I am not a Bible guy.
No, this game is rigged, okay? It's rigged, I tell you.
Okay, I'm not either, so.
I think decline.
Okay, Sarah?
Can you read it again? No?
Wait, no, I can't read it again because I just
Okay.
realized I was reading the wrong list. But I'll read it again now, but I'm not gonna keep reading that list. I have to tell you the funniest thing. I was reading from a list of all divine. So it's divine. I'm gonna tell you right now. All of them are divine. I forgot I made
I
this
vote
list.
divine.
It is rigged. Okay, I'll read it again just for the fun of it. And the mountain of the house of the Lord will be established as the chief of the mountains and will be raised above the hills, and all the nations will stream to it. Sarah, what would you?
Oh, that's definitely divine. I know, because
Oh, okay.
yeah, my vast knowledge of the Bible.
Okay, let's go to the actual one. Okay, and and he it is who sends the winds as bringers of good tidings before his mercy, and we send down from the sky pure water. J.
I'm gonna say divine.
Schley.
Decline. I don't know.
Sarah.
Decline.
That is declined. That's the Quran 25:48. I did modify it and took out Allah and exchanged it for God, because if I said Allah, you would have known. All right. Behold, I have seen the sorrow of the lowly and the pride of kings, and I will weigh them on the scales of truth. J.
Decline.
Schley.
Divine.
Sarah.
Divine.
That is decline, Jay. That is written by me. That is from the Book of Crystal.
Sneaky snake.
Okay. Do not be afraid of their threats, and do not be troubled. Jay.
Divine.
Schley.
Divine. Shit. I don't
Sarah.
Divine.
That is divine. That's 1 Peter 3:14. Good job, everybody. All right. Number 5. And it came to pass that they did gather their flocks, and with songs of thanksgiving, they entered into the land. J.
I want to say divine. But
Same answer.
Okay.
Okay. All right. It is declined. That's from the Book of Mormon. And I think I modified that one to take out somebody's name or something. I think I modified that one. From your homes, a place of rest, and made for you from the hides of the animals tents, which you find light on the day of travel and on the day of encampment. J.
Decline.
Schley.
Divine.
Sarah.
Decline.
That is declined. That is the Quran, 1680. All right, here we go. Number 7, the fool despises the voice of wisdom, but the humble will hear and live. J.
Divine.
All right, Schley.
Divine.
And Sarah.
Decline.
You're right, Sarah. That was from the Book of CrystalJae. That was made up. All right. Number 8. Let love be without hypocrisy. Abhor what is evil. Cling to what is good. J.
Divine.
Schley.
Divine.
Sarah.
Divine.
That is divine. That's Romans 12:9. Good job. Number 9. And they rejoiced exceedingly, for the harvest was great, and the rains had been gentle upon the earth. Jay.
Decline.
Schley.
Decline.
Sarah.
Decline.
You guys are right. That is decline. Where do you guys think that's from?
I have no idea. It just
Quran.
didn't sound like from the Bible.
The Quran? That was from
That's
the Book
okay.
of Crystal.
Oh,
Okay,
shoot.
last one. Indeed, those who have believed and done righteous deeds, they will have the gardens of paradise as a dwelling. Jay.
Divine.
Schley.
Decline.
Sarah?
Fine.
That is decline. That is from the Quran, and that is today's game, a divine or decline. You guys, thank you so much for playing with me. That was a lot of fun. Sarah, when do you go live again?
That's a good question. Let's see. I might try to go later tonight. I'm trying to get on every day. I'm gonna also try harder to make a schedule. I don't have any good answer to your question.
Okay.
Very soon.
Well,
Follow me and I'll go live soon.
all right. Make sure you guys are following a Pink and Blue Shark, and that is Sarah, and she's amazing. Sarah, thank you so much for being here today. I've really enjoyed getting to know you. I really love your shows, and I hope that a lot of people start joining us watching you, because I think that you do amazing work.
Thank you so much. I mean, you do so much work for this whole community that it's hard to like kind of put into words how much you do. So I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. And Schley and Jay, thank you so much for being here too. I really appreciate you, Schley, hanging out with me today. You guys, tomorrow I'm going to be live with Schley right here on this channel, but we're going to go live a little bit earlier tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So we'll be live from 10 to 1, unless we meet the gift goal. If we meet the gift goal, I add an hour to the live. Our topic is going to stay the same as it was yesterday. We're asking Christians right now, what if you are wrong? Because we get asked all the time, what if we're wrong? We get Pascal's wager. You know, what if you're wrong? You're going to burn in hell. But nothing happens to me. But we want to talk to them about what that means to humanity as a whole if they have been wrong for 2,000 years and have forced us all to live by these religious dogmas, and how the world could be different had we not been forced to live by these religious, I don't even know, religious
But they
whatever.
can't be wrong, because God would never do that.
It's very hard for them to do it, Jay. I don't know if you watched that all yesterday, but they were like talking about so many other things that I would be like, okay, but can we come back and sit over here for a minute, and can we pretend for a minute
but
you're
I can
wrong?
only imagine.
Are we going live tomorrow or Thursday? 'Cause
Oh,
I-
I'm sorry. Tomorrow is Wednesday. You're right. Wait, thank you, Schley. Tomorrow, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. is Non-Believers Bible Study. Thursday, I'll be live with Schley. Schley is correct. I am wrong. And then the next time I will be live for Decon Q&A with CrystalJae is Friday, and that will be at 4 p.m. Pacific time, and I'm going to have the Controversial Compass. If you know who that is, he's been putting together a bunch of debates. Joyful did his first debate, I believe, on that show, and not structured debate, like not like more formal. I don't want to say formal, because let's face it, they're not like, you know, real formal, I guess, but I guess they're formal debates. But anyway, I'm going to have Coco on the show on Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific time. You guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me here today. Thank you over on YouTube. You guys have helped me get past the 500 subscribers. My watch hours are going up, and because of that, hopefully very soon I will be able to monetize, and I'm really excited about that.